Hey now, what is up everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I'm here to talk about horror movies, something I love oh so much. And 2017 has been great for horror movies, which is awesome because previous years I'm like, oh no, where's this genre going? But this year came back with a vengeance. So usually I do 5 because I can barely get 5, but this year I'm able to list 10, count them, 10 horror movies, best horror movies in my opinion of the year. Let's start with number 10, Death Note. I know not everybody loved this movie. There are people who probably will have this on their worst of list, and that's fine. Again, I'm not somebody who has seen the anime, knows everything about it. I'm just somebody who heard about this movie. I have Netflix, so I put it on, and I found it interesting. I thought a lot of the story points and the plot, like I found fascinating how this kid finds this book from this creature. That I thought the creature looked great. William Dafoe was great. Use it, write people's names down, and almost using it for good, and becoming this messiah figure. That was fascinating. Sure, a lot of it did seem rushed. Sure, a lot of it could have been maybe a series where you could have really got into it. Number 9, Alien Covenant, which honestly should be higher on the list just in the sense of it's an alien movie by Ridley Scott. People crap on Prometheus. Some of it's justified, some of it I don't think is justified. I loved that Michael Fassbender is playing 2 different versions of the same character. It shows how great he is. Obviously, seeing him make out with himself is a little weird. It tries to change course and turn more into an alien movie. And I appreciated that, seeing the crew and them deal now with the creation, the birth of where xenomorphs came from. Number 8, Jeepers Creepers 3. This was something that I wasn't expecting a whole lot from because I really enjoyed the first one, but the second one not so much. I saw this third one and it surprised me. It was very limited release. Obviously the controversy with Victor Salva, the director, that piece of crap person. It deserves people crapping on him. It sometimes is hard to separate the person from their work, but trying to do that, I was pretty impressed with what he had, the limited budget that he had. But I was surprised by some of the humor that was thrust into this, and some of the characters I thought was interestingly written. And in my review, a lot of people commented though and said, wow, what are you talking about? Why are you giving this good praise? This movie sucked to them. And that's fine. I can understand why some people don't like it, but I try not to be so picky when it comes to horror movies, especially because if you do enough good things in a horror movie, I will forgive a lot. Like my next movie, number 7, Wish Upon. A lot of people will have this on their worst of list, or at least worst horror movies list, and that's fine. But I had fun with this movie. I liked the main actress, Joey King. I thought she was great. This premise reminded me a lot of A Final Destination, just a movie where she has this wish box and she's using it to try to wish for as many things as she can. Ryan Phillippe as her dad, and them going from she lost her mom, bad things happening to people dying around her. There does come a point where she should know better by now. She should realize enough bad things are happening to stop wishing for things, and in some ways, yeah, that makes her unlikable. Number 6, It Comes at Night. I wasn't somebody who paid a lot of attention to the trailers and the promotional stuff of this movie. I just heard about it and then watched it. So I didn't have that big letdown and disappointment that some other people had, where the trailers do make it look like it's a creature or it's something looming, a monster out there at night. Even the title, It Comes at Night, it is misleading. So I understand some people being let down, but I watched it and thought, wow, this is smarter than I thought it was going to be. This is more of a survival type movie, and Joel Edgerton with his family and him having this, can I trust this guy who randomly came to my house? I'm breaking in, and him and his family, when they do try to live together, and it's like, okay, we don't know if we're on the same page here. We're trying to get along. The ending fell flat for me, but most of it does work. Number 5, Annabelle Creation. This is something that probably shouldn't be on the list because the first movie's so bad. So bad. How many times does a first movie which is just terrible in my opinion. And then the sequel rights the wrongs, makes up for it. Ouija did it last year or whenever that came out. Annabelle does it too, where it is a prequel. It does take place before. You have these young girl characters who are orphans and they're living in a house. They're best friends. The one girl who her leg is messed up, so you instantly feel for her, and the ghost, the demon, is messing with her the most because she is the weakest. And the doll, a lot creepier than the first movie. Sure, she still doesn't do as much, but even just that one scene where the girl sees her in underneath the stairs and she's in the dark, and the demon hand grabs the doll and takes her, that freaked me out. Number 4, Happy Death Day. I had so much fun with this movie. I almost want to put it higher on the list because it is a fun movie. It's a good premise, something that's, yeah, not original. We've seen it before. Somebody who's constantly dying and reliving the same life, Groundhog's Day and whatnot. But this actress, Jessica Roth, she pulls this off so well, being the bitchy character at the beginning, the sorority girl that you look at and go, oh, no wonder why a masked person is constantly trying to kill you. It makes sense. But seeing her grow, seeing her just realize she doesn't want to be that person. She wants to fight. She wants to survive. But then they do it in a comedic enough way to where I've watched this a few times and I'm like, it gets good every time. Number 3, Split. M. Night Shyamalan should not have been given this many chances. Let's be honest. He had a horrible track record, just constantly bad movie after bad movie, letdown after letdown. And then The Visit happened. And The Visit made you go, wow, he is still capable of making a halfway decent movie. Some would say good movie. And then Split was like, okay, this is the M. Night that we have been wanting for, yearning for, something that just, he took his time with the story. James McAvoy just floored me with his acting and how he's able to just play these different characters, play these different personalities, and they're all so different from each other. It's probably his best acting performance I've ever seen, which is crazy to say because he's been around for so long and I've seen him in so many movies, but when I sit and think about it, he's so good here. And you're talking about people saying, give this man an Oscar nomination or something. They want him to get some recognition. Even though the movie came out in January so long ago, people still talk about him. And I remember watching the movie and thinking, wow, this is well made, this is well shot, well put together, well acted. Everything was working until it started to go full retard, where his final personality was a creature and he physically changed into a monster. And I thought, oh, I'm not liking this anymore. It went realistic and then was going off the deep end. To me, a little bit, it was losing me towards the end until Bruce Willis showed up. And until you tell me, when my mind was blown when I realized this is connected to Unbreakable. Holy crap. Wow. Something I didn't even realize I wanted until you gave it to me. And now I can't wait to see the next chapter. Number 2, It. It was something that the trailers were so good. The promotional stuff was so good that I'm like, this needs to live up to the hype. If it doesn't, if it lets me down anyway, I would have been crushed. But thank God it lived up. Pennywise the clown and how creepy he was, how ominous he was. Those first 10 minutes of the movie where he takes Georgie, where he bites his arm off and eats him. It's messed up, takes him into the sewer, and then following the other kids, following the losers, following all of them together and their dynamics with each other. I loved each and every one of them. They all had their own personalities. They all had their things about them that made them stand out and made them fun. Such great kid actors, which is something you can't say every day. The fact that it took place in the 80s, I love the references. I love the music choices. And I love that this was more of a coming-of-age story. I know some people say, oh, well, it wasn't as scary. And sure, it wasn't maybe as terrifying as I thought it was going to be, but the story was so strong. The characters were so strong. I cared about watching them. I didn't want any of them to die. Number 1, though, obviously, it's Get Out. Get Out was so good. So damn good, and it was between the surprise factor, Jordan Peele coming from comedy to make sure, a satire. There are comedic elements here, but it's so dark and ominous and scary. The premise is scary, and the fact that it is so race heavy, and you don't get a whole lot of movies that like will go there. Jordan Peele, he's so smart. He knows what's interesting and what people should be talking about or should want to see in a movie. He took it to that next level, and this is something that I will keep rewatching. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what did you think of horror movies from 2017? Can you believe I was able to pick 10? Can you believe that we had so many good ones to choose from? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.